All right, hello guys. Welcome to an episode of Hidden Gems with me, your host, Natasha Parker. We are looking really girly today in our pink because we are talking about all things dating, and it's a solo episode, and I love my solo episodes with you guys because I just get to share how I'm feeling, what I've learned, what I've seen. And this week it's all about dating gems that I have just seen over the last, since the last time I've seen you guys. And I kind of want to start doing a little bit more of that. And you guys send me a lot of feedback about the femininity episodes, and it is something that I live and breathe by. For us ladies, we have to tap into our feminine, and it is not a weak thing. It is a strong thing to be feminine and to be in flow and let things come to you and let life happen versus having to feel like you always have to go after every single thing in every part of life. Now, obviously, our career girlies, we got to go after it. Got to go get the bag, as they say, get the bag. But when it comes to dating and relationships, we can let these men do what they do. All right. So my biggest gem that I have found since I've last talked to you guys is dating advice from a new bestie. You know, we have our internet besties, and I'm going to share some gems that I've heard from some internet besties. But ChatGPT. ChatGPT, honey, has really been a beautiful gem. It's been a beautiful dating gem. So I am going to give you guys, how this happened was I was having a conversation with my sister. So this is how I came and found this. Now, if you guys are professional girlies, I've been working on my resume. I've been doing this. I've been starting these little proposals, so you got to run it through chat to make it clean it up, sound good, all the good things. If you're not using ChatGPT for professional reasons, it's there. It's a tool. Utilize it. Obviously, every time you don't have to use it for every single thing, but it is nice when you're trying to refine something or make something shorter. You can put a whole paragraph in and be like, make this concise, please. And then they do it, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. But I was talking to my sister, and my sister's in therapy. I am not currently in therapy, but I have been and have my fair share of therapy. As I always say, we are pro-therapy on this podcast. And sometimes your therapist just isn't available. Or your bestie who you ask all the questions and things, who's married and in a really happy relationship or whatever. Sometimes they're not available and you just got time on your hands. So we started going to good old ChatGPT and asking some dating questions. More not how to find a man or how to lose a man in 10 days, nothing like that. But it's okay, I just went on a really amazing date. How do I explain to this man that I had a great time? So I go to ChatGPT and I say, what's the best way to express you had a great time after a first date? And this is what the chat has to say.
Express that you had a great time after a first date. It's best to keep it genuine, light, and positive. You could say something like, I had such a great time with you tonight. Thanks for the amazing company. I really enjoyed spending time with you today. Looking forward to doing it again sometime.
Good.
I had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for making it such a good time. Being authentic and appreciative shows interest without being too intense, and it leaves the door open for future plans.
So in that, obviously, guys, if we're not sending a thank you for dinner or thank you for a good time text after a first date, what are we doing? We have to do that in some sort of way. Sometimes you need a little help. And this is just a lightweight one, right? This is the easy one, I should say. I had such a great time with you tonight. Thanks for amazing company. I really enjoyed you. Looking forward to doing it again sometime. That definitely expressed, I didn't just have a good time. I also am waiting and would love for you to plan another date. Looking forward to doing it again. Not when are we doing it again, right? Context. So that's just one way, right? And then you can ask Chat, make it sweeter, make it from a woman to a man, make it more feminine. You can use it to kind of tailor it in that way to make it how you want it to sound. So it also works in the other way. Let's say you went on a date with someone and you did not like them and you want to put them down nicely. I am not a fan of ghosting. I think obviously people do it. I'm not a fan of it. Sometimes there have been times where I have done the, it's not me, it's you type of thing and tried to not date someone and be nice and polite about it, but they kind of don't get the picture. So then the ghosting sometimes happening or the non-responsive and being non-responsive happens. But just to ghost because you just didn't align with someone on a date, I don't think that that's really good karma for you. So I don't think we should do that. So let's ask Chat what we should do. Let's see. How should we say this? I'm doing this in real time.
Lightly express that you enjoyed the date, but don't feel a connection. It's important to be kind, clear, and respectful. You could say something like, I really enjoyed meeting you and had a nice time, but I didn't quite feel the chemistry I'm looking for. I just wanted to be upfront about that. Thank you for a great evening. I appreciate your time, but I didn't feel the connection I need for something more. I wish you all the best. It was lovely spending time with you, but I didn't quite feel the spark. I think it's best we don't pursue things further, but I wish you the best in finding what you're looking for. This approach is honest yet considerate, offering closure while maintaining respect.
So now, I'm obviously giving you guys these are easier things to ask the chat, but what I'm saying is this computer is just ready and willing and able. Now, there are times when I have already drafted I don't think this is going to work text, and I just put it in just to see if Chat gives me any other little gems that I can sprinkle in or take out or make it a little bit shorter. Because, I feel like men kind of shut down when they see the paragraph. No one wants the paragraph. It's the shorter, the better. That is also something that I've learned. The shorter, the better. Less is also more. Oh boy, less is also more. Let's get on a tangent for 2 secs about that. If you have 1,000 things that you're doing, when someone says, how's your day going? You're like, oh, it's great. It's going fantastic. How's yours? Less is more. If our objective is to see this man later, less is more. Tell him in person. You want to tell him in person. Look, I love when a guy's like, oh, tell me how this was. Oh, it's too much to text. Can't wait to tell you when I see you. Period. I'm not about to send you a book about my life. Call me or plan a date, sir. You do not get that information. I'm not offering it up unless we are in person or you call me. Connection is key. For me, at least. I don't know about y'all, but for me. So these are things that you can kind of hold to yourself and not have to blab everything down to them when you are trying to, foster connection and productivity in a relationship. All right. So you can also get real specific with Chat and see what they say. So let's ask Chat what to do if you suspect someone's ghosting you.
If you suspect you're being ghosted, it can be frustrating and confusing. Here's how to approach the situation. 1, give it some time. Sometimes people get busy, so allow a reasonable amount of time for them to respond before jumping to conclusions. A couple of days to a week is a good window depending on how frequently you used to communicate. 2, send a clear message. If you haven't heard back in a while, send a brief, straightforward message that shows you're open to communication but not demanding. Something like, hey, haven't heard from you in a bit, just wanted to check in. Hope all is well. 3, don't keep chasing. If there's no response after your message, avoid sending multiple follow-ups. Repeated attempts to reach out can make you feel worse and seem pushy. 4, reflect and move on. If it becomes clear that you're being ghosted, try to accept it and move forward. It's not a reflection of your worth, but more about the other person's lack of communication skills. Focus on other things that make you feel good and consider moving on. 5, Focus on yourself. Invest time in things you enjoy and people who value your presence. Being ghosted is unpleasant, but you deserve someone who communicates with honesty and respect.
Wow. Now, I mean, how thoughtful. How thoughtful of you, chat. Thank you so much. I love that my guest today is ChatGPT. I should have just said, my guest today is ChatGPT. How would you describe yourself? I should ask chat how they would describe themselves. Anyways, so focus on yourself. Okay, so these are the key things. Give it some time. Send a clear message. Don't keep chasing. Those follow-up text messages, no. The only follow-up text message that you can send is the lack of communication is turning me off. I mean, not saying that, but like the lack of communication is letting me know that something's off, and I don't want to feel that something's off. I want to feel that something's on and popping. So that is the follow-up text that we should be sending if we are going to send a follow-up text, not and nothing else. In a book that I told you guys about in one of my past episodes about femininity, she says 8 weeks. She says 8 weeks. You give it 8 weeks. A man can go 8 weeks without talking to you and getting his ducks in a row. Now, maybe you're like, I don't have 8 weeks and I don't care and I don't want it to linger that long. You know, when you are going through and using our good friend chat, there's some really good gems that chat will give us. So use chat wisely. So ghosting, also, knowing your worth is just really important in what you can and cannot do. I recently went on a date with a guy, and so I thought it was a good date. And the follow-up was not what I thought it was going to be. And a good internet bestie, this is what I was saying earlier to you guys. We're going to share some gems from some internet besties. A good internet bestie who I had on this podcast, actually, Serena Kerrigan. She was talking about how, well, you know what? I'm just going to play it so you can listen to it. 1 second.
I think that we've been looking at dating all wrong. I get so many DMs, text messages, calls from people saying, I had the best date ever. It was incredible. It was like out of a movie. But I haven't heard from him. Stop seeing a date as just the time that you see each other and start seeing the date as half of it is the date and then half of it is the communication after the fact. Half of it is the follow through. It's not just about having a good date. It's about, did you get home safe? I had a great time seeing you. I would love to see you again. Let's make a plan. If those things aren't coming after the date, then that amazing, incredible, oh my God date doesn't really fucking matter.
Listen, what bars Serena Kerrigan is spitting there. Now, I 100% agree. You go on a good date, you're feeling the chemistry, you're feeling all the vibes, you're loving every minute of it, and then you expect, here's where we mess up, ladies. We expect the world because we went on such a great date. And there's 1,000 reasons why you're not getting the world handed to you. Well, maybe because this man doesn't know you. And my brother... Shout out to my brother. Love you so much, Brian. He's like, this man does not know you. He doesn't know anything about you other than you have good banter and you're cute and you're hot and he probably wants to hook up, which is true in most cases. It takes a man a while to actually care. Whereas women, we're like, oh, I don't have chemistry with so many people. I don't know how many people this is listening to this, but it's like, I don't meet people that I like that much. And so when I do have chemistry, oh my God, you automatically put yourself in the care box, right? I'm guilty of this too. But the follow up and the follow through is actually really important. When you leave a guy and he's like, hey, what are you doing this day? And let's do this. And even if he's saying and talking about a plan, but not actually making one, and meaning like, let's do this, or we could do this, or we could do that. It's another thing to be like, okay, let's have dinner this day at this time, you know, and it's all planned out. And then you got to go on the actual date. You got to go on the date. I just had my episode with Jared Freed and we were talking about getting in the car. We're not in the car yet. So just because you have a great connection with someone and chemistry is valid and there and available, that's good. That's great. That's fantastic. But that is not That doesn't mean that we should get head over heels. The thing that, and this is where I have to check myself too, because I'll go on a great date and get head over heels. I'm like, oh my God, my husband, oh my God. And then, after coming down after, the 2 days, I'm like, ugh, who is this guy? I know it's bad. It's my only toxic trait, I promise. But saying that to say, you guys, this is great advice. This is a great gem from Serena Kerrigan. And I heard it and I said, that is true. So it's not just the date. It is the follow up and the follow through to the next date and being present, staying in the present moment. When you leave that date, it's done. It's over. What's he going to do next? Do not fantasize. Do not call the friends. Do not do any of that. Actually, I've implemented a new rule for myself just now as I'm talking to you. I will not talk about a man unless we've been on at least 3 dates. I'm not talking about him with my friends. Do not ask me. Do not ask me. Oh, how's... I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. At least 3 dates, guys. All right. On to the next gem that we have found. This one is it's just amazing. This one comes to us from Jody, who I had the pleasure of meeting during Fashion Week. She is gorgeous. She's amazing. She is awesome. And she really dropped some gems about the person that you date versus the experience. And I have thoughts on this.
Amazing at dates. You are incredible.
I have found the code. I've cracked the code on dating, relationships. I get it. I understand if you want a husband, a healthy relationships, a boyfriend, I know what it is now. And I'm going to share it with you. So stick with me. There are 2 types of people that I observe when looking for a relationship. There are experienced people and then there are person people. Stick with me. This will make sense. The experienced girlies are very clear. They know what they want a relationship to feel like. They want to have a specific experience. They want to feel loved, prioritized, not confused, taken care of. And as long as the person meets their non-negotiables and also offers them that experience, that is the person that they're going to pursue a relationship with. And then there are the person people, which I think a lot of us girlies fall into. And this is where we go left. This is where we go sideways. We meet a person who oftentimes meets this arbitrary list of non-negotiables, negotiable things that we really like. They're funny, they're interesting, they're dynamic, they're hot, whatever it is that's important to you. We find that person and then we try and force them into the experience and in my observations, the girlies that are happy, who have no drama, who get married if that's something that's important to them, have children, don't have this confusion, have the timeline that is appropriate, those are the women that prioritize the experience over the person. Now the girlies, which is most of us, that find the person and then try and force the experience onto this person that this person has not agreed to, that's when the heartache comes in. That's when we're unhappy. That's when we're like, why isn't he? It's because we focus too much on the person and not the experience that is being provided to us.
Wow. I heard this and I went, phew. So I made this realization after the last guy that I dated. I said, I am really good at meeting great people. I live in New York City. It is a mecca for great people. And what I mean by great people is like they're passionate, they're successful, they're strong, they're fit, they're fun, they're all these things because that is New York. You're not surviving in this place if you're not working out, you're not doing 1,000 things, you're not passionate about what you're doing. It's crawling with those types of people. But a great person does not mean that they are a great partner, okay? And I've recently been very much more without, in the essence of this conversation, the person people versus the experienced people, I have been so much more intentional about a partner. So when you're looking for a partner, it doesn't matter how successful, it does. Let's be honest, it does. But it doesn't matter how successful you are in the sense of, oh, you're a very passionate person. But are you a passionate person? Are you a compassionate person? If you're a compassionate person, then you're thinking about me and you care about me. And I understand that you work a lot, but that's not going to change anytime soon. We are young, thriving people. If you're working a lot now, you're going to be working a lot for the next 10, 12 years. And by that time, if we're still dating, we should have some babies. We should have this, we should have that. And you're showing me and telling me that I'm not a priority. Your children won't be a priority. Our life won't be a priority because the only priority you have is your job. No, because compassionate men, they have boundaries. And they figure out those boundaries and they understand those boundaries and they figure out how to implement and they understand what a woman can bring to their life. So this was very riveting. Thank you, Jodie, so much. Because when she said these things, I said, wow, that is so true. Because there are people who look at dating and they say, hey, I'm single, so I can be a jerk. You know, I'm talking about men, or I mean women too, sure. But like, I'm single, so I can go date around, do this, do that, and not, you know, be unresponsive, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But then there should be a moment when you say, oh, no. I'm at the point where I'm looking to be with a partner and date to marry. So if you're going to date to marry, how do I know anything about you? And it goes both ways. It's like, how do you know anything about me? And I'm like, you know, being unresponsive. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. So I think it's super important to get to know someone. And before we put anything on a relationship, you have to put it and say, okay, this is a good person. This is a great person. But are they a great partner? How are they in their personal life outside of work or outside of this or outside of that? How do they treat their friends? How do they treat their family? Do they make time for them? Are they trying to make time for me? Like, you know, are they implementing me into their life? There's a guy that I was dating and, you know, we would do a lot of fun things together. And there'll be a lot of times we couldn't see each other and he'd be doing this with his friends or doing that with his friends. And he never really wanted to integrate both. And that was very interesting to me. But like, if you're looking at me as a partner, then that means that you want to integrate me into your life and or whoever you're dating or whatever. You know, you have to think about those things. And yes, timing matters. Obviously, you're not like on the second date meeting his whole entire family. Obviously not. But at some point, you want to feel included. And if someone is so busy that they only have Wednesday night available and they're going to hang out with their friends, but they also want to see you, and you've been dating for a while, why not put both together? Why don't you come with me to this thing that I'm doing with my friends? That makes me feel good. That makes me feel great. That makes me feel included. That makes me feel like you're thinking about me. That makes me feel like, no, we don't just have to have our own date night, that we can also integrate and be with your friends too. Woo! We love that. So that is a gem in itself. Finding dating a good partner, looking for a good partner versus a good person. I mean, obviously you want them to be a good person, but the partner part is big emphasis on that. Looking for someone who's going to provide an experience, as Jodie says, versus a person. Follow her on TikTok, Instagram, wherever. She is super dope. I have to find, let me tell you what her handle is. It is Jodiektay. So Jodie, Jodiektay. She's dropping gems. And we love that. We are pro gems here. All right. Now, this is another one from YouTube. Here's another one that I saw this week. This third one that I listened to, it's like a mashup that I saw just scrolling through Instagram because this is my algorithm, because, you know, these are the things that just be stopping me in my tracks. So Sadia Khan, she's been on so many podcasts. We've got to get her on Hidden Gems. She is fantastic. And she has this, she had this clip that was on Instagram that I saw, and it wasn't even like her that posted it. It was someone that reposted something that she said. She is fantastic. By the way, like, there's a lot of men in this relationship business on the internet and the social medias talking about this stuff. I personally love to hear women talk about it. I don't hate listening to men talk about it either, but it just hits different when my girlies figure something out about what we're talking about in the sense of like dating gems. in what we're doing, because I do think that women sometimes, we get all whimsical about a situation and we don't necessarily think about what we really need. We think about what we want in the moment sometimes. And I think that men are a little more objective about what they really like. They just go after what they want. They're not thinking about what they need ever, but we do need to think about that because, again, women, we are furthering humanity. It's us who's furthering humanity. We are carrying the children. Okay, so we have to pick wisely. We have to pick wisely. Do not let them think that they are the prize. We are. Okay, so Sadia Khan, here we go.
Inventory of your behavior and ask yourself, what am I actually rewarding the most in the opposite gender? Who am I rewarding the most? Am I rewarding the person who's kindest to me, who's the most loving to me, who's the most soothing to me? Or am I rewarding somebody who makes me feel unseen, who makes me feel unworthy, or somebody who I just find super attractive, someone who gives me money? What am I actually rewarding? Who am I actually spending most of my time with? That will tell you what your values are. Do an inventory of your behavior and ask.
That will tell you what your values are. Now that bars. So hopefully by now, ladies, if you are single, you are dating multiple people, because that is the only way to really know what you want. You date one person, you give one person all your attention, whatever they give you, you just take it. You date multiple people, you're like, oh wait, this guy is really great and he's following up and he's awesome. This guy isn't doing that. And then you realize, it is a part of human nature, especially a part of our wounds and our shadows, that we want to go after the person who isn't readily available. But we have to figure out what that is and try to heal that within ourselves, because we do want someone who wants us. We do want someone who is available and is not trying to play these games. That's the only way we're going to get married and get pregnant and have all the babies and do all the things. That's it. It's the only way. So you have to ask yourself what that is. So I am a victim of this. There's been times where a guy's not giving me all the attention that I want, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so amazing. I'm so this, I'm so that. What's wrong with him? Well, let me do this and let me do that. And pause, break, stop. I have gotten so much more, like I said, into my feminine. I've gotten so much more into my feels. I really tap in and say, how do I feel? Do I not feel seen right now? Me jumping up and down and doing jumping jacks in his face is not going, it can make me be seen by him a little more, but that's not going to make him change his actions, right? We cannot change men. They only can do it themselves. So what a person is giving you, you only can create boundaries and tell them how you feel about something. I don't feel like you're really into me because you haven't called me or texted me or you haven't checked on me. Anything could be happening in my life right now and you don't even know. Do you even care about me? Like these are things that go through my brain when a man isn't texting me, instead of, you know what? Maybe I should send him a selfie. Maybe I should send him a, this or that. No. Yeah, you'll get a response if you send a man a pic in lingerie. You're going to get a response, absolutely. But is that what you want to do? Always having to feed the beast in order to get something in return? No, you should just get it, babe. Just like you just want to talk to him, he should just want to talk to you. So I have found myself, and ask yourself too, do you reward the guy who's, not giving you enough, and then you punish the guy or not available for the guy who is like, hey, how are you? What's up? How are you feeling? How's your life? And really interested in you, because you really, if you actually are a single girlie and you're listening to this and you really do want to get married, you gotta start going for the guy who is interested and he's genuinely compassionate about you and showing you the things that you need. And although it feels weird sometimes, and let's just be honest, you have to be honest too. Are you attracted to this person? Do you want to hook up with this person? Do you want to get to know this person any more or less? If you don't, stop talking to them, right? Like, let's just be honest. But if you find that you only want to get to know people that are emotionally unavailable, who are physically unavailable, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. So you also got to let those people go too, and make space, make room. I have been in like a purging state. Another life update is I did ayahuasca. The time of this episode comes out, probably it would be 2 weeks ago. So there has been a lot of changes. I'm going to do a whole episode about it. You guys just wait, just don't worry. I did an episode with Shaman Omar about ayahuasca, and I finally did it for the first time, and wow, brain is open. Do you guys see, am I different? Am I glowing different? Do I feel different? Do I seem different? I don't, but things are happening. But I will say that since that experience, there's just like a purging and I'm so sensitive. I feel so sensitive. So like the men in my life, I'm sorry. The ones that was here before I did the ayahuasca, I'm sorry because I'm telling them how I feel. I'm all in my feels and I'm telling them how I feel. There is no playing it cool over here right now. I'm telling them how I feel, but again, less is more. Not in the most like word vomit, long messages, blah. We're not doing that. We're done with that. We're still done with that. The ayahuasca did not make me revert on that. I will say that. But so I'll do a whole episode on that. Don't you worry. And overall, these 3 videos that I showed you guys and utilizing chat, I hope you guys utilize chat. Just ask, I mean, I'm up late night sometimes. Sometimes I am an insomniac and I cannot sleep at sometimes. So y'all can also message me and I'll chat with y'all. I chat with most of the people who DM me on Instagram like late night. I'm like sending messages at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Like, hey girl, what's up? So you guys can message me if you guys are insomniacs too. Shout out to Gabby who works for Nike Com, because me and her be talking late about our insoms, but actually cut that out because I don't want anybody else to know that she has insomnia like I do. So sorry, Raul and Autumn. Cut that out. Anyways, but I chat late night and I'll get on the ChatGPT and be like, boo, tell me about life. So chat will tell you all the things. I mean, I've asked chat some crazy questions. You could just ask chat something very vague, how to get a man's attention. And it's going to tell you something now, can you use everything? I don't know. But this is why we have our internet besties. I hope you guys are subscribing to, your internet besties, because people are going through things, and I think that we go through things in order to share them with you. This is why we have a podcast. This is why we're sharing these gems with each other. And for me personally, I have started, by the time this video comes out, I have started working on how I can help my girlies in a more forward-facing way to be more feminine and just tap into their feminine, especially my career girlies who, have their masculine hat on at work because they are boss bitches, and then they come home and they need to change, adapt, and be the feminine being, beautiful, powerful being that they are at home. So look out for that from me. The last gem that I'm going to leave you guys with, we had Joey Zauzig on my podcast, and he is my last and final gem for our closing of our beautiful dating gems episode. And here he is.
Did you ever think for a second, maybe it just didn't work out with them because they just fucking suck and they deserve to be with other losers that fucking suck? You are everything and gorgeous, and you deserve to be surrounded by other people that are everything and gorgeous. Don't forget that, period.
Well, there it is, guys. Some people really freaking suck. And I have had a situation like that. And some people just are not the vibe. And if they don't want to be with you, and you've been working on yourself, and you've been doing all the things, you've been reading the books, you've been going to gym, you've been going to church, and you've been doing all the things that you need to do, you've been reading your Bible, you've been doing all the things, and this person doesn't see your light, they're not meant to. Shine elsewhere, baby. That is it. That is all for this episode. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoy it. And if you think I'm crazy for talking to chat, let me know. Just let me know. Me and my crazy butt gonna be late night chatting with chat. Okay? Until next week, bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Hidden Gems with me, your host, Natasha Parker. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps grow our budding community. Follow me on IG at Natasha Parker and the show at Gems with Natasha. Hidden Gems with Natasha Parker is produced by Gotham Production Studios.